Hello everyone, in this video I'll be talking about IGLing in CSGO. So first, what is an IGL? An IGL is the most important role in a team in CSGO. IGL stands for in-game leader. So as you can see from the name, you're going to be the team's leader. You're going to be making the important decisions during the game and before, also after the game. So not everyone can be an IGL. To be an IGL, you have to have a personality that allows you to be a leader. If you're really shy and not confident, you cannot be an IGL, because the IGL has to be confident in himself. He has to feel like the call that he's making is going to always be the best call and it is going to work. If you don't have that confidence, your calls are most likely not going to work that well, because confidence is key, and confidence really does make a difference when you are calling. Also, you need to have a leading personality, because when everyone is being quiet and nobody is really having energy during the game, maybe the enemy is in the lead and nobody really feels like you can win the game, then you have to stand up, call a tactical timeout, and just get your team fired up. You have to tell them that you are still in the game, that you can win the game, that you are the better team. And sometimes you have to really fake it. Sometimes even you are not going to believe this. And people don't really tell you this, but sometimes the IGL doesn't believe you can win the game, but he's gonna still tell you that you're going to win the game and you are the better team. Even though he doesn't believe any of this, he still has to say it, and he has to try his best to look like he actually believes it, so the team can believe it too. And you often have to do that, and a lot of the time it will actually work, even if you don't believe it. So that's why you have to have that kind of confidence and that kind of a leading personality to just say those things, even if you don't really believe them. And you have to be the person saying that as the leader. So another thing you have to have is a really good knowledge and understanding about the game, because you are going to be the one who is going to do the most thinking during the game and before and after the game, as I said. So you're going to be the one who is thinking of everything before the game. You're going to think of how do you want your players to play, how do you want the laner to play. Maybe you want him to go and pause most of the rounds, and when there is information that there is 3 mid and 1 B, you want him to try and find the duel towards the A player, and then you're going to think about what direction should be after he gets the kill and what direction should be if he doesn't get the kill. That has to be something you prepare before the game, and maybe that's too advanced for your level, so you don't have to think to that deep of a level yet, but at some point you have to keep in mind that you will be thinking of different stuff like this, how to react to certain plays and what plays you're going to make according to what information. You're going to be the one thinking of what smokes you're going to use in your default. I'm going to smoke window, I'm going to flash like this, I'm going to flash like this. You're going to make those defaults, and you're going to be the one who explains them to the team, explains why you do the stuff, why you throw certain nades, and how those nades work. That's why you have to have the game knowledge, because you also have to both understand it and be able to teach it to other people as well. So you're going to be making all of those defaults, you're going to be making all of the site executes, and you don't have to really make all of them. You can also take some of them, or even take most of them. So as an example, you can't think of a pistol round here on Mirage. Like, you're thinking about it and you can't really figure out what would be a good pistol round. So let's say you watch a video and you see a strat from Liquid, let's say. And you see in this strat they have one person who smokes jungle, one person who smokes top con. Then one of those people flashes like this, 3 people run out, then this guy flashes them through the jungle, smoke, whatever. You watch videos like this, or you watch demos and you find strats like this that explain. The YouTube videos can explain the strat so you can understand it, but if you are watching a demo, then you have to understand it by yourself. You have to figure out why are they doing this, why are they smoking this, why are they flashing through the smoke. So that again comes down to your game knowledge and your understanding of the game. So when you are an IGL, you also need to code those things. You don't only need to make them, you need to code them, and you need to know how and when to code those things. When I was an IGL, which was my first role, and I didn't know a lot about it, I was really wondering how should I call, what should I be calling. That was the most difficult part to understand because nobody really tells you what you should call and nobody really gives you good examples. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna give you exact examples of what you should be calling so you can understand it better. So let's say we're in spawn. I'm gonna call, okay, let's play default. And before the game I've already explained, default is we smoke window. The guy who smokes window is this guy. So this guy is going to always smoke window when we do a default. Another guy is going to always throw this flash, let's say. Another guy is always going to molly con, let's say. You have set people who do the things. You're going to call the default and people know what to do. And you know what to do as well, probably. So you do this, you take mid, you maybe get a kill, then you call something. Let's say you don't have an A-split, because in this situation the easiest call you can make is let's do A-split. And if you already have the strat down, like you can have a person throwing this, you can have a person throwing this. If you already have it set, it's easy. But let's say you don't have a set A-split here. And you got a kill onto the con player. You say, okay, one person smoke window, I'm gonna smoke short. Let's say. So okay, you smoke short, one person smoked window. Now let's go A. Two people come with me con. Two people are coming, you're going in. Powers player go out. You have to be calling this if you don't have a set strat. That's why it's so difficult if you don't have a set strat. You have to keep in mind all of the things that should be happening. And that's why you should have the set strats. You have to tell every player what to do if you don't have a set strat. And that's what can be difficult, and that's what I struggled with, because I didn't have so many set things, and sometimes you don't have to say this to your players, but you have to have an action for each thing. Like you can just think in your own time, okay, if we get a kill there, I should call the split. And you're not always going to do it, that's why you don't tell your players, because sometimes you get the con kill, but then you don't want to do an A split because you think they're going to have an A stack, so one player thinks, okay, we got the con kill, I will smoke window, and he smokes window, and now it's a waste of smoke because you didn't want to do A split, and it's going to be a mess. So you can think in your own time, okay, if we get that kill, then I want to call the A split. And if you have already made an A split, then everyone knows. Okay, I throw this smoke. He throws this smoke. The other guy throws a flash from here over there, like this, so it blinds CT. The powers player peeks out in the timing when we are right here, and he tries to get the kill towards default or triple or CT or whatever you want to. If you have that set strategy, the set tactic, it's going to be much easier to call it. So that's an example of calling. You call, let's do default in spawn. Then you get a kill and you react with a call, okay, let's do a split now. Sometimes you can call a strat out to spawn. The most obvious thing would be let's do an A execute, but that's too simple and you already know that you can call this, and you know that. But another call could be you already have a tactic, fast A split, let's say. So you're in spawn and you think that this is going to be something the enemy will not expect, and you say, okay, let's do fast A split. And now your players know. One guy has to throw a smoke like this. One guy has to throw a window smoke. One guy has to go powers. One guy has to come here and smoke city on a certain timing that we have. One guy is going to be flashing con. Not sure if this is the flash. There is a better flash for con. It's probably something like this. Yeah, probably something like this. You can find on YouTube a lot of flashes from con. So something like this, you throw so you can blind the con player and you go in and whatever. You have your protocols. I'm not going to show you an exact strat that you can do. You can find on YouTube thousands of them. So you can call a strat auto spawn, you can call a default auto spawn. You have to do mid-round calls. And a very important thing about mid-round calls is information, being able to work with information, because you are not always going to kill the con player and say let's do a split in a game. So let's say you hear information. This is an example that I already gave in this video. If you have the information that there's 3 people mid and there's 1 person B, that's information that you know that there's 1A at most. It cannot be 2A, it can be 1A, or it can be nobody A. Most likely 1A. So you can say, okay, whoever is doing powers player, let's say John. John, I want you to search for a kill on A. He says, okay, and he goes searching little by little, clearing the angles, looking for the kill, and he gets the kill. Now you go off of that. Okay, let's do a split as fast as we can now. 4 people to mid. So this guy can do something on his own that he knows he can do. Like he can smoke city, he knows he can smoke city like this, he knows he can molotov jungle like this, so he can cut off the rotation from the jungle player and turn people on mid. You set as fast as possible, which would mean, I don't know if you would do the short smoke if it's as fast as possible, but maybe you would. You would throw a flash towards connector, or you would just double or triple pick connector, and he doesn't have a lot to do when you triple pick a person who is, let's say, in this corner. Like, what can he do? He can kill one and then he's gonna get traded instantly. And you go in, you smoke jungle, and that's what a reactionary play is. You call something, you call for a search on the A side, so your powers player is going to search for a kill, and then you call off of that real quick what you're going to do, and you finish the round that way. What else you can do? You can also work with information later during the round. Like if you don't go for that searching over kill, then you can just go. If you have heard 10 seconds ago that one was jump spotting B and he saw your B player and he threw a smoke 10 seconds ago, right? That means that there's about 7 seconds more of that smoke. And this guy is going to probably jump spot once again after the smoke fades, and he's not going to see anyone. So he's gonna think it's clear in 7 seconds. So the short player is not going to be too focused on B, he'll focus on short again. Now we can call a B execute. Because he saw a person, the B player saw a person, but this person didn't do anything, the team didn't do anything, and now it's clear. But this person can be waiting here, your this side player. And you can call a B execute. You can throw smoke to kitchen window. You can throw smoke to short. You can do a full execute. You can throw flashes. And you're most likely going to either have the side player isolated or the short player trying to help him, running through smokes and getting full blind and he's gonna get killed, because if he runs through a smoke, he shouldn't be able to get more than one. Because your players should be jumping out and stuff, and if he's running through a smoke, he has a huge disadvantage. Like, imagine there is a smoke landing there. If this player is running through a smoke like this, and you have a player up here, even if he's watching there, he'll see the person running through the smoke when he's there. He'll see his feet, and that person still cannot see. So you have time to flick to him and kill him. The players that are jumping down also can kill him. He is on a big disadvantage, and the side player is isolated, so you can have two people running towards him. If he is here, if you have two people running towards him, like this, picking him, preferring him, realistically he has nothing to do about it. He could kill one, but the second one has to always get the trade. And of course there is gonna be situations where he cannot get the trade, and this will happen, but mostly it will not happen, because it's impossible to make plays like this all the time, and it's impossible to not get the trade all the time. That's why double picks are very strong, and most of the time they work. If you actually double pick someone, you will see that they have almost nothing to do about it. Like, it's very rare that they will get a kill or two. So you can go off with information like that. On city side, there is still IGLing, but it's more different. On city side, I would say there isn't that much to call, because on T side you have to be calling every single round. Like, every single round, no exception. You cannot not call on T side. It's impossible. But on city, some rounds, you can almost not say anything. And what I mean by this is, you just play your default. Let's say your default is one person is jump spotting on B, one person from short flashes mid, and he holds chair like this. One person is in con, he throws his smoke like this, and he watches towards under. You have one player window who picks mid like this and holds, and you have one person on A staying ticket jump spotting, let's say, whatever. You can not call anything, and the default is going to be like this, let's say, and the round is gonna go, and rotations are gonna come in, because on city side you don't really have to call the rotations all the time. You can call them, but it will mostly be the job of the anchor. He can say, okay, can John rotate? Let's say John is your con player, and he was out here. Can John rotate to A? Okay, he rotates to A, he throws a support flash, picks works powers, gets kill. You are not going to call the rotations, because you don't know what's happening. Like, this person could see 3 smokes flying, and he could say A execute, but you don't know what's happening, so you can't call, okay, full rotate to A. That's going to be his job, because on city side it's much more difficult to call, because you don't see a lot. If you're jump spotting B, you have no idea what's exactly going on mid and what's going on A, and you don't hear everything, you don't see everything. And on T side it's like that as well, but on T side it's easier to call, because you get all the team together and you hit a side, right? But on city side you cannot do that. You cannot get the whole team together on one side and defend it. You can never do that almost. So the things that you can call on city side are, if you see A is getting lost a lot, like they're executing A all the time and you are losing A, you're gonna call, okay, let's play the setup that goes that we smoke ramp, and one person stays here watching the smoke, and one person stays here watching powers. That could be a setup that you run on A, or here watching powers, however you want. And maybe you even have the op here. That's another setup that you can do. You have the op here watching ramp. If he gets flashed off and smoked off, he can jump up, take a peek towards ramp, maybe get a kill. You have another player, triple, who will peek after the op shot. So the op shoots, you peek, people will be watching towards city because that's where they just got killed from. Maybe they'll try to spam the smoke. This guy will pick from here, get a kill, hide again, try to survive, use a defensive smoke like here or here. Get on top of this or whatever, watch towards powers somehow, try to not die. That's the things that you call. You will call, let's do this A setup. You can call, let's take mid. You can call, let's tag B. That's the type of things you're going to call, and mid round you're not going to be calling a lot, like on this side. On this side you have to call all the time, but it's not like this side on city. You don't have to call almost at all during the mid round unless the enemy is going to your side and you have to call, okay, this guy and this guy should rotate, maybe tell the opener to stay in kitchen window, you molly ups, or tell your short player to molly ups. Things like this, that's what you should call on city. So I hope this video helped you and you learned something new, and if so, like the video and subscribe to my channel to not miss out on any upcoming content. Thank you for watching.